And we are live. How's it going, everybody? It is Wardy here, and we're back at it with another Mets pregame show to get into. Day 2 of this Houston Astros series in Houston, as the Mets look to hopefully and finally have their first win of the 2025 year. How you doing, everybody? Thank you guys kindly for first chiming in live on a replay. We appreciate you. And today's pregame show, which I'm going to tell you first and foremost, will not be as long as yesterday's. We'll be capping things by absolute latest 7:30 today, if not a little bit sooner. I apologize to everyone that was patiently waiting over the past 10 plus minutes. Dad duty was upon us, and I simply could not get in front of my computer until pretty much right around the start time of the initial time for the show. So I apologize, but I appreciate your patience. And listen, the boys did not fare too well yesterday. They had a little bit of a flair for the dramatic that we saw in the 8th and 9th innings, but Juan Soto strikes out on what was, again, the World Series championship the Yankees were hoping to land in that 5-game stretch against the Dodgers, but they got theirs yesterday. Congratulations to them. Us Mets fans are focused on bigger things like having Juan Soto for the next 15 years, including, hopefully, maybe a Juan Soto's first home run today, a multi-a-day for Juan. I certainly want to see something along those lines happen, and it won't be an easy task for this Mets team between Tyler Megill and Hunter Brown. Hunter Brown has been one of the better pitchers in all the American League, especially from like June on last year. He was absolutely nails. So let's get into the laps beside me. We'll start with the Astros, then get into our New York Metropolitans, see how we're feeling about them. I would love to see your initial reactions in the comments down below regarding the Mets as we head into Game 2 tonight. And I would also love to hear, who do you think is going to be tonight's key standout, both offensively for the Mets and offensively, if anyone's going to step up for the Houston Astros? And I say if anyone because obviously I don't wish them success, but naturally I can't control what will happen, and who knows how Tyler Megill is going to fare this evening. But let's get a quick roll call in here, and then we'll get the show going, everybody. How you doing, everybody? Thank you guys kindly. Let's see. What channel they play on today? They are on Apple TV today. Yes, if you guys have an Apple TV subscription, you'll be able to watch tonight's game. Otherwise, you will then have to opt for either local radio there or get an Apple TV subscription or watch the game in another way that I can't necessarily promote. Let's go up the list here. Again, shout out everybody. Snags, how you doing? David, how are you? Joe, how you doing, my man? We got Jesus in the chat. Steve Lawn, our great friend on the platform and member. We got my man Dave Kaplitz, my great buddy, in here as well. Hope you're doing great. We got Brandon. Thank you kindly for being in here. Brandon, actually, funny enough, we had this layout last year too, but when I did my pregame shows, they were sporadic, so a lot of fans haven't really got a chance to witness them yet. And I used to have a lot more slides than just this one, but last year I revolved a lot of the pregame content initially around, betting lines, certainly supporting the sponsor at the time. Not doing that in the case of these pregame shows now, at least for the time being. So because of that reason, that's why we're just going with our simple layout with the laps on the left, on the right, beautifully set for each and every one of you. But we got Brandon, great member in here. Leo, great member. Eugene, Europa, how you doing? Mr. Metz, Mike O'Brien, come one, come all. Irvin Wallace, my man, how are you? Thank you kindly for coming in. House of Ill, how you doing? Thank you kindly. Yes, and again, I'm not going to promote it, but you said it, not me. Let's see here in the chat. We got plenty of people first chiming in. Come one, come all, everybody. Thank you kindly. Now, first reactions, gut reactions from last night's loss. It was as dramatic as one could be. I appreciate the rally the Mets had. I think that rally we saw against Josh Hader is a great example of what we can expect a lot with the Mets this year. They're never going to say die until that final at-bat, and honestly, I think it's kind of fitting that the guy that'll lead the way for the Mets in more ways than one this year on the field with his offensive production, not necessarily in the captaincy realm of things like Lindor, but Juan Soto, to have the game end the way that it did, it only adds fuel to the fire, and I know he's going to try to make up for it as soon as humanly possible today. And I got to say, it also feels great knowing that even after what was a lackluster first game for the Mets, after seeing how last year transpired starting the year 0-5, and also just being a Mets fan and cognizant of how the ups and flows in a 162 are, I'm not at all buying into that first game. If anything, I'm just really, really excited to see more Mets baseball starting tonight. So salute to you as well, Paula. Happy to have you in here. I appreciate that. Let's see. Joe, exactly. Yeah, yep, you know exactly what we're talking about there. Broken Jester, Caleb going up the list here. No Name Annan. Thank you guys kindly. But all right, let's start by breaking down these lineups beside me, everybody, and we'll go from there. Please smash that like and subscribe button as you first chime in. It really does mean a lot. Also, guys, thank you kindly for checking out all the content that we've been doing separately, not only here, but as well as WardyMLB, which is our now MLB-centric YouTube channel that you guys can check out. Already have almost 400 subscribers there, and we dropped our first video 2 days ago. Please check it out, and thank you so much for doing exactly that. It's also linked down below in the description of this, as well as our Playback link. If you guys don't know Playback, it's a sports app that we're going to be working with all throughout the season starting next week, where I'll be hosting one, if not multiple, watch parties throughout the week in the Playback app, where you guys can watch the game in real time with me by simply signing into your MLB.tv account. Hopefully there's no errors with MLB TV the way that we had yesterday for the first hour or so of the game, which was beyond ridiculous. Regardless, though, we're going to be doing these watch parties for 1, if not 2+ games every single week throughout the year, so you guys can get in on the action by simply clicking on the link down below in the description of playback.tv that we have there /WardyNYM. Join our room, and then you can also watch there in real time while we're watching the game and interacting together. Or you can chime in as I will simulcast it on YouTube Live as well throughout the weeks. That way you guys can chime in the YouTube chat should you wish. And the only difference is that instead of it actually showing the game, it'll show a scoreboard. That way I don't have to deal with any bad copyright infringement or anything like that. But let's get into the Astros lineup now. As you see beside me, Altuve batting leadoff. Altuve, that we saw record a hit yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. After striking out a couple times that we saw against Clay Holmes on the sweeper. Isaac Paredes is batting second at the hot corner. Batting third is without question their most lethal bat in Yordan Alvarez, the towering DH. Batting fourth is going to be Christian Walker, a fantastic veteran first base pickup that they acquired from the Diamondbacks that we saw this past offseason. Yainer Diaz, one of the best young uprising catchers in the game today, batting fifth there after what was a strong game yesterday, driving in some runs for them. Then we have Jeremy Pena there, who also had a good game both offensively, defensively yesterday. He's batting sixth. We have numbers at 7. We have Smith here, Cam Smith, the rookie, who made his debut there and had a hit in the first pitch he saw from Clay Holmes. Very reminiscent of what we saw from Cam Smith throughout spring training. For those that don't know, top prospect that they acquired in the Kyle Tucker trade, along with Isaac Paredes from the Chicago Cubs. And Cam Smith tore the cover off the ball against the Mets and every team he faced in spring training. So it was far from shocking to see him not only crack this team, but have the immediate impact he's already having on the club. I wish him well. I just hope he sucks for the next 24 hours against our Mets. We have Brendan Rodgers there batting eighth, veteran second baseman coming over from the Colorado Rockies, and Jake Myers, who's known for that defense, but also had some offense to give yesterday with a big hit. He's batting ninth there with 1,000 OPS. At starting pitcher for the Houston Astros, we have Hunter Brown, who, if you put him side by side next to Justin Verlander, has the exact same windup. There's so many similarities, and yes, it goes in direct hand with Justin Verlander being the former teammate for multiple years of Hunter Brown throughout his young career. Now, enough of the Astros talk for a second. Let's get into our New York Metropolitans, and they are as follows, everybody. Batting leadoff for your New York Mets is Mr. Smile and our unsung captain, and Francisco Lindor. Batting second is the one and only Juan Soto, which leaves the polar bear and Pete Alonso to bat third. Batting fourth this time, unlike fifth yesterday, is Brandon Nimmo, more like Brandon Nimmo. Nimmo, who sadly we saw when first pitch swinging on a slider when he probably thought it was a heater. The Mets were working Brian Abreu brilliantly yesterday for a bases-loaded situation, and sadly they couldn't get more than just a sac fly when Nimmo first pitch swinging at bat. He should have otherwise, in hindsight, grinded out, but I understand it was a pitch to hit. It was an absolute hanger. Most guys would swing at that every single time. He sadly just got under it a little bit too much, which made it an easy fly out there in center field for Myers. Now, outside of Brandon Nimmo batting fourth, we got Marky V, Swaggy V, Mr. Mark Vientos batting fifth here against the right-hander in Brown. And as Carlos Mendoza said in the early goings of spring trading, this will be a continuation throughout the regular season, everybody. Expect Brandon Nimmo to get the bulk of starts at the 4th spot in the lineup, one facing right-handed pitching, and Mark Vientos will get the bulk of the starts at the 4th spot when it is left-handed starting pitching. So you will see them flip-flop naturally plenty throughout the year, but the Mets 1 through 3 should pretty much be the same for the entire season, barring changes with inconsistencies among other things. Now, batting 6 is a man who came in to pinch hit, but had the Brandon Nimmo syndrome because Buddy was first pitch swinging, this time for a ground out, and that was coming in as a pinch hitter for Louis Torrens at Jesse Winker. Jesse gets his first start of the year and first start now as as a New York Met to begin the season, I love myself some Jesse Winker. I know you guys love Jesse too. What a tremendous playoff run he had for the Mets. What a guy that feeds off of not only the fans around him, but really exemplifies what it means for having the label aura. I'm not just saying that because he likes to rep grills in his free time sometimes, which is just so funny and so sick all at the same time. But Jesse Winker is just such a prime example of a guy that you hate to have not on your team and a guy that you love to have on your squad. Shout out to you, Ethan. Happy to have you in here. Caleb, we got Tom Miranda in here. Thank you kindly for chiming in. LP, we got Jester. All you guys, come one, come all. Appreciate you guys greatly as we're breaking down the latest in Mets land here. Now we have batting seventh, the man who got the same start there in center yesterday and helped get the rally going with star-studded Starling Marte against the dominant closer and Josh Hader of the ninth. Both of which ripped a single to left. This time, and Tyrone Taylor gets a start there again. And in case people are wondering, is there anything wrong with Jose Siri? No issue like that. And Jules, I appreciate that kindly, especially from an Astros fan. I hope that you enjoyed your Game 1 victory yesterday. I hope you enjoy a Game 2 loss today and a series defeat tomorrow. But all jokes aside, I say jokes in the sense of I don't know what the game outcomes will be, but I certainly hope that my Mets prevail. But I appreciate you chiming in, and thank you for the support. Especially if you enjoy my content, please check out WardyMLB. For all my non-Mets fans chiming in that enjoy my content, WardyMLB will be the perfect hub for you because it'll be MLB-wide topics that will not be centered around just the Mets. That way you guys will be able to share your takes beyond just NYM. And don't worry, nothing's changing here at WardyNYM. We're just expanding the empire because why not? We're only growing big time in the game, and I'm very fortunate to say that thanks to each and every one of you. We got Brett the Met Beatty, guys. That's the big one. He is making his season debut. Brett Beatty is there batting eighth for the Mets, getting the start over Luis Angel Acuna, which makes endless sense. This is the exact kind of platoon you could expect from the Mets throughout the course of the start of the season. They're pretty much leading up till we find out what is happening with Jeff Megill when he returns upon injury. But Beatty getting the start against the right-hander Brown, which means Louis Torrens is back at the backstop for a second consecutive night. Hayden Senger may get the night game tomorrow, but because of the fact that it's not a night-to-a-day game, I actually like the chances of the Mets going to Torrens for all three games of the series, but we'll see what happens from there. Now we have Tyler Megill towing the rubber, a big iron for him. I texted his mom, Julie, a little bit before the game because for those that don't know, I have a very good relationship with the Megill family, and I'm very grateful to say that. I love the entire Megill family. Both Tyler's mom and dad are as kind, as humble, as selfless as one can be, and it's been great getting to know them. Hung out with them at spring training while Tyler Megill dominated against the same Astros team, so maybe that is something we're going to see happen yet again. I'm not exactly sure, but Megill knows that this is another key test for him, another year where he was initially on the outside looking in for this rotation, and now just like that, here he is as the Mets Game 2 starter, because of course he is. How's Tyler Megill going to handle things in Houston is what we're going to find out shortly, but my hope and honestly my wishful thinking is that we're going to get a solid outing from Tyler Megill today, giving the Mets 5.2 innings to 6 innings of 3 earned run ball, walking 2 batters, and striking out 5. That is my honest prediction for Tyler Megill today. So once more, I'm going 5.2 innings to top 6. We're going to be going with 3 earned runs is what I said, I believe. 3 earned runs. We're going with 2 walks, 5 strikeouts. I think that's a very stereotypical Tyler Megill outing, I feel like. Not the best outing, certainly not the worst. We'll keep the Mets in the ball game if the bats can simply hit with runners in scoring position. In case you guys didn't pay attention to the opener yesterday, the Mets lost 3-1, but it was in large part because they were 0 for 6 with runners in scoring position and left 10 on base. I mean, if you leave 10 on base, you might as well just not show up to the game because you're not going to be scoring. It ain't going to happen. You're not going to win the game. Not even going to get close to prevailing. So Tyler Megill hopefully gets some run support. And one more thing on the Megill front that I'm praying that we see is that he gets competent defense behind him. One thing that I've noticed a lot with Tyler Megill throughout the past couple of years is that even with some outings in which he's looked solid out there, there's been a defensive blunder, either in the infield or certainly in the outfield. Many times, multiple times I've seen either Starling Marte bobble a ball in right field because the buddy, he can barely even move laterally, I feel like, at this point in his career. Thankfully, we have Juan Soto there, who I understand is not a defensive dynamo, but again, we will take it for what it is right now for obvious reasons. Megill, I really hope gets some defense on his side tonight. That'd be great. But that's what I'm going to go with for my Megill outing prediction. I would love to hear from you guys. What are your final line predictions for Tyler Megill, and how are you feeling, everybody? Would love to hear it. Mine was born last summer. a house. But that's awesome to hear that your daughter's name is Shay. That's fantastic. God bless you, and I hope your family is growing and having a great time right now. Hopefully she'll become the next big Mets fan, right? Todd, thank you so much. I appreciate that. The Soto Shuffle is always electric. We love the Soto Shuffle. How can you not love the Soto Shuffle? But yeah, guys, I would love to hear from you. How are you feeling about Tyler Megill tonight, heading into this outing? We're also now going to hear briefly some key remarks from Carlos Mendoza when speaking to the media today, because I love to show you guys interviews, or at least have you guys listen in on interviews when I get a chance. So we're going to do exactly that. Also, folks, I have something that I'm going to throw at you now, but once we get towards the end of the show, when I tell you that we're going to get close to wrapping it up, is when I'm going to ask you to especially do it. Folks, we have some very exciting preliminary news I'm happy to share, and that is we are currently in the ongoing process of setting up fun things at Citi Field. And I want to hear from you Mets fans, how many of you would have interest in coming along to hang out with your guy Wardy at an all-day Mets event this year? If you guys would have interest in something along those lines and actually catching a game with me, doing a pregame show, after the game we're going to be having some fun as well. If you guys have interest in something like that, then please let me know by hitting me up via email. I'm actually going to be putting the email here in the description of the live show in just a second, because I want to make sure it's the proper one. I'm going to actually give you guys an opportunity for you guys to pretty much jump in on pre-sale. So if you guys have interest and would like to partake in something like this, because we're going to be limited in the number of tickets that we will be selling, among other things. If you guys want to get in for basically first dibs, I'm going to give you guys an opportunity to do exactly that. So give me 1 second to get this set up for you, because I didn't have this preset, and that's my apologies. Let me put it in the description right now. Email Wardy for, let's see, that's event. Okay, guys, everything is saved in the description. So if you go in the description of the live show now, please, highly implore you, go to that email. It's officialwardynym@gmail.com. And all you guys need to do is email me to the following things. 1, your full name. And 2, if you're interested and want to be added to this priority list, where then you guys will be automatically added for the official pre-sale when we get the early goings of this thing starting. We don't have official dates or anything like that yet. This is more of a feeler to see how many people would have early interest. If we have as many people interested as I hope and expect to, then we're obviously going to continue and follow suit with this. So email me with that officialwardynym@gmail.com. Email me your full name and how many tickets that you would have interest in acquiring to take part in a Mets event with Wardy at Citi Field this year. Again, link down below. That's just one of many things that we're currently in the works on doing right now, but I was given the green light to at least give you guys notice. I'm trying to reach out if you guys want to get early access to this. So if you want to be part of the priority list, once more, hit me up on email in the description down below at officialwardynym.com. Give me your full name and give me how many tickets that you have interest in partaking with, and then we will go from there. Obviously, I don't have price point on tickets or anything like that yet. I imagine that they won't be the cheapest, but they won't be the most expensive either, because this isn't just going to be to attend the game. We're hoping to have some fun perks with it, among other things. That way it's worthwhile for you guys outside of just getting a chance to hang out with me finally in person for a change versus what we do here with our watch parties and our post-game content. So I'm really excited for this. Again, we have a lot of things cooking right now, so make sure to get in on the action if you haven't already. Thank you for that as well, all the kind words, guys. It does mean a lot. Let's see. RZ, rather. How are you? Thank you so much for chiming in. Emerson, how are you? Happy to have you in here. We got Matthew Martell. Love the name. Great follower, longtime follower, with a $5 haul. And Matthew states the following: how do y'all feel about Jazz Cornball Chisholm doing his own Soto Shuffle? Jazz has always been a very extroverted player. I'm not at all fazed with whatever Jazz does. If anything, it's just because he admires Soto and had the privilege of playing with him for half a season last year. I got no ill will when it comes to Jazz Chisholm. I know he's a Yankee now, but I always had a soft spot for him in Miami. I'm all for players that are extroverted and showing their personality. I can understand that there are especially more seasoned fans in the game that don't love it, that maybe think he's too flashy, too extrovert for a guy that maybe isn't good enough to warrant it consistently. But I think Jazz is a human highlight reel. He's a lot of fun. Was a great early acquisition for the Yankees at the deadline last year. And I truly can care less what he does or doesn't do, because unlike Yankee fans who are too concerned about, continuing to be what is now going to be little brother going forward, I'm more focused on my Mets and what we're looking ahead, and hopefully is going to be a big 162. Matthew, thank you for the donation. I appreciate that. Let's see that. 13-8, 3.43 is what you think Megill's going to have this year for his season total. You think Tyler Megill's going to have a 13-8 season with a 3.4 ERA? Is that what I'm seeing in the chat right now? Let's see. Am I a Jets fan? No. I'm not a Jets fan, but I don't discriminate. If you're a Jets or a Giants fan, I got no ill will with you guys. I'm wishing you well. There's not an issue there whatsoever. But when it comes to me personally, I've always been a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. Blame my father. He knew the Jets and the Giants sucked in the 70s, and he wouldn't be a Cowboys fan. But he had interest in hopping on a bandwagon of a team that he felt he could root for, that there wasn't any pre-existing bias, and the Steelers and the Steel Curtain came to play with their 3 reigns of the 70s, and the rest is history. They're 3? Wait, did they have 3 or 4? I always flip-flop on this because I know we got 6. Had to have been 4 because we got our 5th against Seattle in 2005, 2006, and then we got number 6 against the Cardinals in 2008, 2009 area. Yes, Jaden, that's exactly what it is. Yes. This is a priority list, pretty much a pre-sale to you guys for specifically fans that would like to partake in attending a game with Wardy this season. That is exactly what that is. And that's why I want to get a feeler to see how many of you guys have early interest in that. Because if we get a priority list that consists of, say, half of what the total seats would be that we're going to acquire, then naturally I'm going to upgrade that because I know that we're going to be way outperforming that. I have no clue how many people would want to pull up for this, but I'm going to go on a limb and say that there's going to be a decent amount of Mets fans that at least want to chop it up with Wardy. Maybe you want to call me schmuck in person. I've had fans do that, and I always say, guys, when you run into me, know that I'm the short schmuck, and you can find me and call me one, and some people do it, and I find it hilarious when they do that. Regardless of what your interest is or lack thereof when it comes to hitting a game with me, if you are really locked in on the idea, click that, not link, but click the email down below at officialwardynym@gmail.com and send over your priority list information. Let's see. Tonight he goes 5 2/3 with two runs. Yep, that's right in line with what I think. Yep, I think we're all pretty much in common consensus, right? Unless someone has Tyler Megill going 7 shutting tonight, that's pretty much what I'm getting at for the most part. Matthew, when do the watch streams start? Great question. The watch streams are going to be starting next week. I was dabbling on the idea for us, our first one, to go tonight, but actually I decided not to, and I'm glad I did decide not to because I didn't realize that tonight's game is on Apple TV. So, not that we couldn't have done the show through playback, but there might have been a little bit more jumping through hoops because they're officially partnered through MLB.TV to get the broadcast that way. I don't necessarily know their stats through MLB TV. So I think we actually lucked out by not doing our first playback watch party tonight, but we will be doing it next week, and it's probably going to be, I'm really think I'm eyeing Tuesday next week against Miami. Feels like a really good time to do our first watch party of the season. And if we do that, it'll be both live in the playback app, in which you guys can sign up and join my room by clicking the link down below in the description. It's available for you guys, or just chime into the live chat so that we'll be doing on YouTube. It's going to simulcast, so that way it'll still be on YouTube. The only difference is that I'll be showing the scoreboard and not the actual game itself. How many runs did the Mets average per game last year? That's a good question that I don't have the answer to off the top of my head. I know that obviously they were one of the most electric offenses throughout the entire summer long. Pretty much from towards the end of May, once Lindor got put in the leadoff spot, and then from that point on, through August, the Mets were fantastic. Friday, no. I'm not doing anything that immediate for Friday, but I will be doing stuff soon at Citi Field as soon as possible. And again, watch parties will be officially beginning next week. The first game that it looks like I'll be attending of any type of sort for the Mets is going to be the 8th or the 9th of April against the Marlins at home. After the first home series against the Blue Jays, it'll be the second series. So the 8th or the 9th, I'm almost a complete lock to attend one of those games right now. Just not certain yet. And I may also be staying in a specific club when I'm there. I'm still in the ongoing process of figuring that all out at the moment. I'll relay it to your guys' way once I can make it happen. I don't see your email in the description. Jaden, refresh the live stream, and I promise you'll see it there. Some people may not see it right away because I added it in mid-live show. So depending on if you're watching this live or a little behind, will kind of dictate the status of that. Halfway to 100 likes as well. So thank you guys kindly for that. Really means a lot. Help us get to 100 likes by the end of the live show. And again, if you guys have any specific comments you want me to answer, I'll gladly answer them for you. Despise these streaming games. I know it's not ideal. I personally don't care too much as someone who already has, Apple TV, and I enjoy it. And also enjoy the broadcast of Apple TV. It's never good to not have Gary, Keith, and Ron. But one, Wayne Randazzo does a tremendous job, and it's so good to have an excuse to hear Wayno cover the Mets the way that he does for Apple TV. Fantastic job. And secondly, and I know I'm not the only one that feels this way, I really do believe that Apple TV has the best, actual videography of anything in Major League Baseball. This isn't a slight on any network or anything like that. Just Apple TV's production is tremendous. I love how crisp their visuals look. I love the little stats that they give you in the corner. There is an appeal to Apple TV that I like quite a bit, where it trumps the broadcast on how good or bad it is. Like, I can care less on really how the broadcast is, even though I'm excited for Wayno, among others. When it has been Wayno in the past and people have critiqued it, I really haven't cared too much because I'm more locked in on the actual game itself and the visuals that I'm getting. But that's more of a me thing. Definitely better than, for sure, Paula. That's a very low bar. That's a very low bar. Wardy, what's the email again? Dave, the email is linked down below in the description, but it's official WardyNYM@gmail.com. That is the email for you guys to check out. See, House, you get it. You get it. And don't worry, everybody. You want to know the best part of this all? Even if you don't have Apple TV, even if you missed tonight's Mets game for whatever reason, you're going to get the fastest reaction recap featuring full game highlights from yours truly directly after the game. So yes, it's unfortunate if you're not able to catch it, but at the same time, that's where people like me come into play, especially for people like you. We're going to have a post-game reaction and breakdown directly after tonight's game. And just like yesterday and the days going forward, we will also then have a recap video going over more of those key takeaways and other headlines, including daily prospect reports, baby. I wasn't joking. We started them last year. They're back. We're going to be covering everything on the prospect front every single day here on the platform for the most part. We already have some key takeaways from Syracuse's first game of the year, and we'll be expanding on that greatly in our Big Mets Update segment that'll drop as a pre-recorded video for you all to check out later on, probably early morning tomorrow around 9 or 10 a.m., just like when we dropped today's video on the Big Mets Updates on further key takeaways from last night, among others. It's a great way to kind of give you guys the morning recap for those that didn't check out the post-game live show and maybe don't want to watch the entirety of the post-game live show, while also hearing other topics related to the Mets that isn't necessarily related to the game itself. And we're going to be doing that all throughout the course of the season. Again, at minimum, you guys will be getting 2 forms of content daily on the platform from me, if not more, and that'll be a continuation naturally throughout the course of the year. I'm not sipping on water. No, I'm actually sipping on, I'm not going to lie, it doesn't taste overly great, but it gets the job done. I've been determined, especially, I don't know about you guys, like, some of you guys, I don't know where you stand on giving up things for Lent, especially, but for me, one thing that I typically like to do is to deviate away from soda, especially through Lent. It's a great reason for me to do exactly that. So, especially this time of year, I'm trying to find drinks that I will enjoy that'll have flavor in them, but also aren't going to be the worst thing imaginable for you, because I'm really trying to cut out all the nonsense, all the bad stuff that we just consume on a daily basis and don't realize because it's so normalized in today's society. So today, I went to Whole Foods, and yes, I'm a Whole Foods guy on the side. Not all the time when I'm in the mood for certain things. And I got the cold pressed cucumber pineapple turmeric root, and lemon. And yes, it is green. And, you know it doesn't look overly satisfying. It tastes better than it looks. It definitely tastes earthy, though, so it's an acquired taste. But I'm definitely going to take that over, some of the nonsense and all the freaking high fructose corn syrup and all this other nonsense I've just been having way too much of over the years. If you know, you know. Is baseball always free on Apple TV? I don't know the answer to that, Jade, and I apologize. Let's see. Gary, any YouTubers doing is live? There were last year. I mean, I'm going to be doing live coverage for games throughout the season for sure. Not every game, obviously, but certainly we'll be doing some. I worked out Whole Foods. That's awesome. Funny enough, we're talking about Whole Foods, and we're not even realizing that Hayden Sanger, Mets backup catcher, the Whole Foods king himself, right? You got to stop with the Sprites. Yeah, beer is healthy. Sounds like a friend who needs to look in the mirror and realize that they have a problem. You will not be able to get anywhere in life until you have the self-reflection first to know that what you're doing is not okay. That's what that comment feels like to me. But guys, that is going to do it now for our pregame segment. Thank you guys kindly for watching. I will see you all directly after the conclusion of tonight's game. Win, lose, or draw, we will be here right away, as always. And no matter what, let's go Mets, baby. Thank you guys again for a really fun pregame discussion. Check out, again, for your chance to join our priority list. If you guys want to hit games with Wardy at Citi Field this year, I got to know who's down, who wants first dibs on tickets before the official drop happens at a later date. So I'll see you guys then, and I will see you more in tonight's postgame show. Peace out.